Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages.
If you follow basketball, you know Chilton Hoops.
So this is really good right here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What's going on all over the world? Y'all know what time it is when y'all see me. We are live and in effect. Yes, we are. We are in business. I know this sounds ridiculous to a lot of you guys, but I'm going to say it. and I know it sounds ridiculous to a lot of you, but the truth is, and I'm going to say this one time for the people in the cheap seats. Exactly 2 months from today, the playoffs start. 2 months. See, a lot of you guys think that the All-Star break is halfway through the season. No, 2/3 of the season is already over. We're already done. 2/3 of the season is we're coming now to the stretch. 2 months from today is when the playoffs start. And because of that, you're going to see teams playing differently because there's not a lot of time left. You're going to see teams that may try to make a push to get into the playoffs. You're going to see teams that have no real shot and they're out of it. So you're going to see Chicago playing a little bit differently. You're going to see the Heat playing different. Because from 6 to 9 is only separated by 3 games. It could be the difference between being in the playoffs and having to play 2 games to get in the playoffs. That's the difference. You can see teams like Philly shut it down, which I think that they should, considering what Joel Embiid has been this season, what Paul George has been this season. You can see them shut it down. I could see Toronto shutting it down too. Teams like Phoenix are still going to give it a run. They 2.5 games out. I didn't have them missing the playoffs. I had them finishing in the bottom of the play-in tournament. I had them around 9. That's where I had them at. But is it ridiculous to think that Phoenix in another, let's say, 3 weeks, if they still in this space, that they could be like, yo, or they end up dropping to where Portland is, which I doubt, that they won't shut it down? I mean, San Antonio, 3.5 games out the 10 spot. The Warriors, 3.5 games out the 6. So you're gonna see some teams do some different things. Utah is gonna shut it down at some point. I think the Trailblazers are gonna try to make a push to get in the playoffs, but then after that, I think they're out. I don't think that they'll make a big time effort after that. So we've had some really good storylines in the first 2/3 of the season. Oklahoma City looks great. Cleveland looks great. The question is, though, with these last 27 games, these last 26, 27 games, the question that needs to be answered is, right? The question that needs to be answered is, in these last 26, 27 games, who are we going to see that's going to look great going into the playoffs? Who are we going to see that's going to be able to stay steady at this point? What up, Straight? And who are we going to see falter? I mean, I know that Gafford's going to be out for a month. I know that Anthony Davis is going to be out for a couple of weeks. Lively is still at least a month away. At least a month away. Maybe 2, because from what I understand, I mean, his foot injury was pretty significant. So I don't think that they're in any rush to get him back right now because they feel like they got time with him. But I think this Dallas experiment, I think it's a 3-year process. I think that this year, I think this is a throwaway. I think you got next year. And the year after that, Anthony Davis will be 34 2 years from now. Going on 35 3 years from now, he'll be 35. That's why I think that this is a 3-year process in Dallas. But with that being said, what they have on paper, I'm not shaking up this roster, to be honest with you. I like what I see. With Kyrie Irving, PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, Lively. I mean, I like what I see with this roster. Klay Thompson is on this roster. So I like what I see from what they have. So with that being said, I'm not going to say that this is a throwaway year, but I think that this is a 3-year process from them. I'll be interested to see if they can avoid the injury bug. If they can avoid the injury bug over the next 3 years and turn this thing around and make this thing work. But as far as these next 6 to 8 weeks, the teams that I've said this to you guys in the past, and I'm going to stand on it. The teams that are from late December to the All-Star break, those teams that have the better records, especially those teams at the top of the league, those are the teams that you see at the end of the season. Those are the teams that you see in the Eastern Conference Championship, in the Western Conference Championship. Those are the teams that you see in the NBA Finals. Because this stretch that we just went through, which is from the end of December to now, is the toughest part of the season. Now what you're going to see is you're going to see teams ramping up what they've done in the past. Now you ramping up what they've done. You're going to see teams really on their games more than anything. And I'll be interested to see who's standing at the end. I think it's going to be the Celtics because I'm having a difficult time with the idea that, anybody could beat them 4 times in a week. I think that they have to completely fall apart in order for that to happen. Everything has to go right for whomever they're going against, and everything has to go wrong for them. But I've seen over the course of the last 10 years, because that's how far I went back. I went back 10 years. And when I went back 10 years, and I'm going to run this down to you guys, the teams that were in the Eastern Conference Championship, in the Western Conference Championship, and in the NBA Finals, what they did during this stretch. And the reason why I'm so adamant about this is because that stretch from the end of December, like right after Christmas, up until the All-Star break, that's the toughest time of the season. It's the coldest part of the year. Guys are injured, they hurting. The monotony of the season, like you got to go to Milwaukee for the 3rd time this month. You got to go to Memphis twice already. So it could get monotonous. So teams have to at every point. It's a mental thing at that point, at that stretch of the season. In the beginning of the season, it's new. We just got our crew. We still trying to figure each other out. We're trying to figure out rotations. We're trying to figure out starting lineups, who the man is. Guys are getting better. Guys aren't playing the way we thought they would be playing. Stuff like that is going on. Then you get to the dog days of the season, like I said, at the Christmas up until the All-Star break. Guys are in and out of the lineup with nagging injuries. You got inconsistent play from guys. All of this stuff adds up. Who can avoid the injury bug? In addition to being able to avoid the injury bug, because I think that's huge. Who can avoid the injury bug? And who can keep themselves afloat and stay consistent? And in the last third of the season, which is from tomorrow to 2 months from now, when the playoffs start, who can hit their stride? So, like I said, I did some homework over the last 10 years from the 13-14 season. From the 13-14 season, Oklahoma City, who was 20-7 during that stretch. In the process of them being 20-7 during that stretch, they had won 10 straight games. 10 straight. San Antonio. They were 11 games. I'm sorry, they were 9 games over 500 during that stretch, and they had won 9 out of 10. Right? They had won 9 out of 10. Indiana, who had won 11 of 13 during that stretch. This was in 14. They were in the East Finals against Miami. They were 13 games over 500. Miami in the 13-14 season. They were also 13 games over 500. They had won 10 of 12. That's in the 13-14 season. In the 14-15 season, Golden State Warriors, who had won the NBA championship that year, during this stretch, at the end of after Christmas, up until the All-Star break, they were 15 games over 500, and they had won 13 out of 14 games during this stretch. Houston was 5 games over 500, and they had won 7. They had won 7 out of 10. They were in the Western Cup. Both of these two teams were in the Western Conference Championship. Cleveland in 15. They were 5 games over 500. They had won 13 out of 14 at one point. Atlanta, they were 21 games over 500. And a lot of you guys talk to me about this Atlanta team. Atlanta was frauds. No, they weren't. They just ran into James. That's all that was. They just ran into James. And I'm an advocate. And I have to go back on what I said. When I say when you get swept, you ain't close. I think this was a bit different. And the reason why I feel like that is because they handled everybody else. Atlanta did. They handled everybody else. They ended up in the East Finals. During that stretch, they had won 21 out of 24 games. During that stretch I'm talking about. 21 out of 22. They were rolling. They ran into James. They were 14 games over 500 against the Western Conference. They just ran into James. That was the problem with Atlanta. In the 15-16 season, right? In the 15-16 season, Golden State, they were 19 games over 500 during this stretch. They had won 12 of 13, including 11 straight. Oklahoma City, there were 17 games over 500 and won 12 of 13. So these are the teams during this time in 15-16. Toronto, they were 12 games over 500 in the 15-16 season, won 14 out of 15. And the reason why I'm running this down to you guys, because it's important that you know that these are the teams that you see at the end of the season. The teams that get busy during this stretch of the season, from the end of December to the All-Star break. These are the teams that you see at the end of the season. In 17, Cleveland was 7 games over 500. They had won 8 out of 10. Golden State was 19 games over 500. They had won 12 out of 13 during that stretch. Boston in 17, they were 13 games over 500. They had won 9 out of 10, including 7 straight. San Antonio in 17 with Leonard, Marcus Aldridge, and Gasol. Tony Parker was over. I mean, if we're being honest, but they were rolling. They were 11 games over 500, including winning 8 out of 10. In the 17-18 season. And again, these were the 4 teams that we saw at the end of the season. Right? These were the 4 teams that Cleveland, Golden State, Boston, and San Antonio. These were the 4 teams that we saw at the end of the season. This is what they did during this stretch. In 17-18, Cleveland is the only team, when I went back and did my research, Cleveland was the only team that had a losing record during this stretch. And they were only 1 game under 500. They were 1 game under 500. Boston was 9 games over 500 during that stretch. That's the same Boston team that Cleveland saw in the East Finals. Golden State, they were 13 games over 500, won 12 out of 14. Right? They had won 12 out of 14 games. Houston, who Golden State had seen in the West Finals that year, they were 9 games over 500, winning 11 out of 12. And then you go to the 19 season. Toronto, there were 5 games over 500 during that stretch. Won 8 out of 9. Milwaukee, 19 games over 500. That's who Toronto saw in the East Finals. They had won 12 out of 13 at that point. Right? They had won 12 out of 13 at that point. So, like, these are the teams in 2019, 2020. Miami was 5 games over 500. Boston was 9 games over 500. They had won 11 out of 13, including 7 straight. This is with Jaylen Brown. This is the year after. Excuse me. This was the year after 17, 18, 18, 19. This was the year after they lose Kyrie Irving. Yep. This is the year after they lose Kyrie Irving. They had won 7 straight during this stretch. And that's who Miami ended up seeing in the East Finals that year. In 2021, Milwaukee won 13 out of 14. They were 9 games over 500. Atlanta also 9 games over 500. They had won 8 straight. And in the 1920 season, also the Lakers, they were 9 games over 500. Won 9 straight. Denver, they were 11 games over 500 in the West Finals. Winning 8 straight. This is what these teams are doing during this stretch. This is what these teams are doing. In 2021, that Phoenix team, like I already told you about Milwaukee and Atlanta in 21. Well, Phoenix, they were 17 games over 500. They had won 10 out of 11. The Clippers were 7 games over 500. They had won 10 out of 12. The dog days of the season are the most difficult part of the season. And the teams that you see that get busy during this time, those are the teams that you normally see at the end of the season. In 22, Boston was 5 games over 500. They had won 8 of 11 during that stretch. Miami, they were 11 games over 500. They had won 9 out of 11. Golden State, they were 11 games over 500. 11 games over 500. And 10 out of 11 that they won that year. And Dallas was 7 games over 500 and won 11 out of 13. And then in 23, same thing. Miami was 7 games over 500, won 8 out of 11. Boston, they were 7 games over 500, winning 9 straight. Denver, they was 13 games over 500 during that time in 23. And they won the championship that year. 13 games over 500, including 9 straight. The Lakers were a game over 500, winning 5 straight during that stretch. I say all of this to say that the playoffs start in 2 months. When we get to the East Finals, when we get to the West Finals, when we get to the East Finals, when we get to the West Finals, when we get to the NBA Finals, go back and see what those teams did during that stretch from the day after Christmas up until the All-Star break. This is what my theory is when I see these teams at the end of the season. I look to see what they did during this stretch. And I only went back a decade. I didn't go back 30, 40 years. Nope, I only went back a decade. And what I saw was these teams that we see at the end of the season, right? These teams that we see at the end of the season, these teams get busy during this stretch. And because of that, I'm very much interested to see when we get to the end of the season who is in the NBA Finals, who is in the East Finals, who's in the West Finals, and what did they look like during this stretch. Because as of right now, if the playoffs started today, right? Today is April the 18th, April the 19th. The playoffs start this weekend. Today is Wednesday. The playoffs start this weekend. And we already had the play-in tournament because we got Orlando, Atlanta, Miami, and Chicago. I feel like Atlanta, Miami, and Chicago, that's been a theme over like the last 3 years. Right? I feel like that's been a theme over the last 3 years. And It's getting kind of corny, to be honest with you, right? I feel like it's getting kind of corny. But with that being said, if the playoffs started today, Cleveland would have to see if this is how it ended. We already had the play-in tournament. Miami is out and Chicago's out. In Atlanta, Orlando, Detroit, Milwaukee, who, by the way, I got Detroit. I don't have Detroit in the play-in tournament. I got them making the playoffs. I don't have them in the play-in tournament. I got them actually making the playoffs, which I did not have this happening. I thought that they would be better this season, and I thought that they would be better largely due to Coach Bernie Bickerstaff. I thought that he brought a level of toughness. I thought he brought some stability to this organization that they didn't have. I feel like last year they had a coach who didn't want to be there. I don't think that there was any stability. I think that they were actively throwing games. And when I say throwing games, I don't mean like they were betting, but I don't think they were really trying to win games. I don't. I feel like this season, this Detroit team is really trying to compete. I think that I think that they make the playoffs this year. So I got, if the season ended today, so Detroit's at 6, Milwaukee's 5, Indiana's 4, the Knicks are 3, Boston's 2, and Cleveland is 1. If this is the way it ended, which means Cleveland would have to see Atlanta in round 1. I don't love that matchup for Cleveland, but I think that they can handle Atlanta. I do. Boston would have to see Orlando, and I think that they would handle Orlando in 5 games. They should. They should handle Orlando in 5 games. The Knicks have had a very difficult time with Detroit. I don't think they've beaten them once this year. I think Detroit's beaten them both times they played them this year. Cade gives Jalen Brunson hell, and the fact that Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway, who has had a resurgence in Detroit, are the shooters that they are. They really spread New York out. In Indiana and Milwaukee, the reason why the jury is out on Milwaukee, one, Giannis has missed the playoffs last year, and they got bounced in round 1 the year before that. So the last 2 years, it has not looked good. And as I told my man Big Ox, the indictment papers are out on Giannis. Real quick, I just want to say what's up to my man Quan Johnson. What up, brother? What's going on with you? The indictment papers are out on Giannis. They just haven't been issued yet. He misses the playoffs again this year, twice in the last 3 years. We got a problem. We got a huge problem. No doubt about that. I think they should beat Indiana. I think that they, because Giannis gets busy against Indiana. He destroys them. He's had his career highs against Indiana. I think he put 64 on them last year. He gets busy against them. And I feel like Dame has settled in more this season than he was last year. I think Dame's going to make the All-Pro team this year. How much more Dame has been efficient this year, the better scorer that he's been. I still worry about Jackson being able to knock down an open shot. I think that's going to be their Achilles heel. I do. Because when you spread them out, and Brook Lopez looks like he's running with a piano on his back. But when you spread them out, you're essentially telling Jackson, you got to make open shots. I'm not an advocate of the long ball like that, because I feel like there's ways that if you got defenders on the wing that you can defend against the long ball, right? I feel like you can defend against the long ball if you have wing defenders who are solid, but you have to. I can't say this enough. You have to be able to knock down an open shot to keep the defense honest. Not necessarily the long ball, but I have to be able to knock down an open shot to keep the defense honest, and I don't know if Jackson can do that on a consistent basis. That's why I don't worry about the stars. I don't worry about Giannis. I don't worry about SGA. I'm worried about the other guys, because they're going to be the difference in whether or not we win. They are going to be the difference in whether or not we win. So when I look at the East and I'm thinking about how this whole thing runs down, like we talk about Donovan Mitchell doesn't perform in the playoffs. I mean, I've seen Donovan Mitchell get his team out of the first round. We saw that last year. I saw that against Oklahoma City when they had Russ and Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. He outplayed Russ in that series. 100% he did. 100% he outplayed Russ in that series. He's been out of the first round more than once. More than twice. I've seen him get busy in the playoffs. Now, I'm of the belief when I think about winning the championship, like I just said to you guys, there's things that have to go right, and those other guys have to step their game up. That's why I think Cleveland is still a year away. That's why I feel like Oklahoma City is still a year away, because I don't think Mobley is there yet. I don't think he's there yet. I think we're getting close. I just don't think he's there yet. I know what you guys want. You guys want to see Donovan Mitchell throw the crew on his back and take him there. He doesn't have to do that. No, he does not have to do that. That's a damn good team. That's a damn good team in Cleveland. But guys like Evan Mobley are going to have to step his game up, and I don't think he's there yet. I don't. I think that he's getting close. Just like, and I'm going to talk about Oklahoma City in a little bit, I feel the same way about J-Dub. I don't think he's there yet. Boy, we getting close, though. We are getting close. And I think that this Cleveland team, they should be able to handle Atlanta. Now, there's going to be some overreaction in Atlanta where, I mean, I saw a tweet, not a tweet, I'm sorry. I saw online where executives think that Ja could be moved this summer. See, Luka kind of threw a monkey wrench, Luka getting traded threw a monkey wrench in the whole thing. What I equate it to, and I don't know how good of an example this is. I remember in 1991 when Magic told us he was HIV positive. When he told us that, I was convinced this shit is going to kill all of us. If he got it, we all going to die from this. None of us are safe. None of us. Now, I'm a dumbass 18-year-old kid. I don't know my ass from my elbow. What do I know, right? I say that to say this season right here, where we are, right? Where we are right now with Luka getting traded, everybody is on alert. Because if he could get moved, none of us are safe. Any one of us can get moved. Any one of us could get shipped out of where we are. No matter how entrenched we are, how long we've been there, it doesn't make a difference. And I think we could see some names move this summer. And it could be some overreaction. Because when I look at this Atlanta team, to be honest with you, if they go up against Cleveland and get bounced in round one, I think this is the best team that Trey's been on in terms of talent. But he's lost his 20-10 guy. His 20-10 guy and Jalen Johnson is out for the season. That sucks. That's why I don't want to give up on this crew. I do want to upgrade at the 5 spot, though, with Clint Capella. I think he's a little long in the tooth. I think you've gotten all. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back. I don't think that he's old. More than I think that you've gotten everything that you're going to get out of him. I don't think that you're going to get anything more from him. And I think it's time to upgrade at the 5 spot. I do think it's time to do that in Atlanta. But overall, trading Hunter for Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert is a great rotation player. A great rotation player. With him being awesome, you still have Trey. Dyson Daniels is going to be an all-league defender. With him being an all-league defender, you get Jalen Johnson back. There's your 20-10 guy next season. In addition to getting Jalen Johnson back, Okongwu has actually had a really good season this year. I like what I'm seeing from this Atlanta team in terms of talent. I don't want to blow this up, because this isn't like 2019. No, I'm sorry, this isn't like 2021 where when they were in the East Finals, all right, that was the ceiling for that crew. I don't know what the ceiling is for this crew because I haven't seen it yet. I have not seen it yet. And Jalen Johnson getting hurt doesn't help. No, it does not. So with that being said, if they lose, which I think Cleveland will beat them, if the playoffs started today, and that's what it ended up being from 1 to 8, right? If that's what it ended up being from 1 to 8, I'm comfortable saying Cleveland would handle Atlanta. I don't want to blow this Atlanta team up. I'm not trading Trey. I'm not moving off Jalen Johnson. I'm upgrading at the 5 spot because I think we can get better there. Other than that, yo, let's see if we can stay healthy. Because I don't think I've seen the ceiling of this team yet, right? I don't think that I've seen that yet. Now, with the Knicks in Detroit, like I said, Detroit, they're building something in Detroit. They are. Detroit has a bunch of, I feel like this Detroit team has a bunch of guys who do a lot of small things. Like if you look at this Detroit team, this is a team that they don't do one thing fantastic. They do a bunch of things really good. And that's why I think they're going to be viable come playoff time. They're going to be a problem come playoff time. Yes, they are. And if they end up seeing the Knicks, I don't got the Knicks walking past them, but I do think that the Knicks would beat them. 100% I believe that the Knicks would beat them. Now, with that being said, you got the Western Conference. If the playoffs started today, Oklahoma City. I'm looking at the play-in tournament. You got Minnesota, Dallas, Sacramento, Golden State. If it started today, and we got the play-in tournament, Dallas would have to play Minnesota. I think Minnesota would beat them because Dallas is so shorthanded. Sacramento plays Golden State. I think without Fox, I think Golden State beats them, which means that Golden State and Sacramento is out, which means that Golden State would have to play Dallas in order to get into the playoffs. Could Dallas beat them? Dallas could win. And in one game playoff, could Dallas beat them? Well, we already saw Dallas beat them, and it took 42 from Kyrie Irving in order to get it done. It took 42 from Kyrie Irving in order to get it done. I mean, they ended up getting it done. So it was one of those games that I'm thinking, all right, you clearly had to dig deep into what you were doing in order for that to happen. But in a one game situation, in a one game situation, considering how short-handed Dallas has been, I'm going to take Golden State over Dallas. I think Dallas is out. If it was today, I ain't talking about when Derek Lively gets back, when Gafford gets back, or when you get Davis back. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about today. I'm fast forwarding the clock 2 months from now. We got the play-in tournament going on, and this is what they have. What they have right now, I think Dallas is out. 100% I think Dallas is out. So now what that leaves Minnesota at 7. Oklahoma City at 1, Memphis at 2, Denver at 3, Houston at 4, Lakers at 5, Clippers at 6, Minnesota at 7, and Golden State at 8. So now we have ourselves a situation. Because I know a lot of you may look at this you look at this Oklahoma City situation against Golden State and go, well, Golden State got Jimmy Butler. Can they turn the clock back? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I got Oklahoma City smoking Golden State in 5 games. I got them straight smoking these dudes. I think defensively, they're much better. When Draymond Green said he got them winning the NBA championship, essentially what he said was Jimmy Butler is the difference. All the other stuff, we already got it. We play defense. In addition to us playing defense, we got one of the best rotations in the game, one of the best benches in the game. All we need is a secondary scorer. So if you are Oklahoma City, what you are betting on What I'm betting on if I'm Oklahoma City is I'm betting on Steph Curry not being able to turn the clock back. Jimmy Butler, I'm going to slow him down, and I'm betting on Curry not being able to turn the clock back. Because remember, come playoff time, he's going to be 37. And that's what you're asking Curry to do. You're asking Curry to turn the clock back and turn into 22 Steph Curry, turn into 21 Steph Curry. And can he do it for 6 weeks? Can Jimmy Butler give you not Milwaukee? I'm not asking for Milwaukee. Milwaukee I think that's a bit much. I think that's asking way too much. But can you get a big time series from Milwaukee? I mean, from Jimmy Butler. Can you do that? I think that's asking a little bit too much. I think Golden State gets smoked by Oklahoma City in round 1. I don't think they lose. I think they get destroyed in 5 games. I think they mop them dudes right out the playoffs. I think that as good as Golden State's bench is, as good as their defense is, everything that Golden State is good at, Oklahoma City is better at it. Everything. So I'm looking at the standings, and if the playoffs started today, I think that they would handle Golden State in round 1. Memphis would have to see Minnesota. Now, I'm in the minority. I had Minnesota in the finals. I had to come off that because I don't think that they're a finals team. I don't think that they're that good. I don't. But I want to hear from you guys, though. I do. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear. My fault. My microphone was off. Yeah, I want to hear from you guys. I'd like to know, considering what we got going on here, what it looks like in the Western Conference. Oklahoma City, if it started today, because I think Golden State they'd get the last spot. They'd have to see Oklahoma City in round 1. With them having to see Oklahoma City in round 1, Memphis would have to see Minnesota, right? Memphis would have to see Minnesota. Would Memphis have what the hell is going on here? There we go. Now we good. Memphis would have to see Minnesota. With Memphis seeing Minnesota, with the 3 seed, with the 3 seed, now we have Denver and the Clippers. I think they serve the Clippers. As good as Zubac is, I think they served them. I think the Lakers beat Houston in round 1, and then from there, once you get out of round 1, it gets real tricky. So, what up?
What's going on?
What up?
So yeah. So real quick, so wait, you got Dallas, out.
I think they out. If it ended today, I think Dallas is out. No Davis, no Gafford, no Lively. I think they're out.
If it ended today, they clearly in, because they in 8th. They a game and a half
They're in
ahead.
7th place. Okay,
Dallas is in 8th. I'm looking at it right now.
Right, they're in 8th place. So we got the play-in tournament. That's what I talked about.
Okay.
So you got the play-in. If it ended today, Minnesota would play Dallas, and I think Minnesota would beat them.
Okay.
And I think that Golden State would beat Sacramento, which would leave Dallas and Golden State having to play for that final spot. And I think Golden State beats them.
And you think Golden State could beat Dallas? Okay. All right.
Yes. In a one-game playoff. I do.
I mean, all right. Listen, whatever the case may be, let's just get one thing straight about the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've only won 1 playoff series. That's all they did. They only won 1 playoff series, and that was against the Pelicans. When it comes to these young teams in the West trying to beat the quote unquote placeholders, the veteran teams, I haven't seen it. I was looking forward to Memphis beating the Lakers. Hasn't happened. I was looking forward to Sacramento beating the Warriors. Hasn't happened. We was looking forward to OKC beating Dallas. Hasn't happened. Like, my thing is, the playoffs is a different ball game, and I'm starting to think, man, like, listen, and everything that you said about the West, and you said about a lot of these 50-win teams, right now it's only 140-win team, so you might have to walk that back. You might have to walk back that whole 50-win team that you've been saying, because a lot of these teams is like, I'm seeing 44 wins, 36, 36, and then everybody else is under 35. So you might have to walk back what you were saying in the beginning of this year about that. I
Mhm.
told you was crazy, brother, and you walked right off the balcony and just said, "All right, I'm falling 20 stories off the roof. Let me just do it. The hell with it. The hell with Leaf. I ain't listening to that."
Leaf,
So
you no, you wouldn't. Leaf, stop. Don't make it sound like you just had the formula. No, you didn't. I went off what I saw the year before and what they had coming back the next year. That's what I went off of. I did not think the Sacramento was going to be that bad, considering what they had coming back the next year. There was no reason for me to think that they wouldn't win 50. They had won 44 games last year,
mhm,
and Malik Monk had gotten hurt the last
mhm.
month of the season. That's a 50-win team, and they're bringing the whole crew back next year. There's no reason for me to think that they couldn't win 50 games again next year. There was no reason for me not to think that.
The reason why I didn't think that is because I thought that they had peaked at number 3, and I don't think that they was going to get no higher. And you said, and I quote, "The Sacramento Kings are not sneaking up on anybody
What did that
anymore."
have to do with them winning 50 games, though? Even if they ended up in the 6th spot, what did that have to do with them winning 50 games?
I always seen them declining since that 3rd seed. I always seen it. Whether it was, you could say it was injuries, or you could say it was whatever it was. I've always seen a decline from them, and
What
they.
decline did you see from them last year? Before Monk got hurt in that last month of the season, and they would have, I think they were around the 5 or the 6 spot. Because
Mhm.
The Western Conference was better last year, too,
Yeah,
by the
yeah,
way.
of course it was. Of course it
The
was.
Western Conference was a lot better last year.
Mhm.
So would it be what decline did you see from Sacramento?
I,
I'm
I,
interested in that.
what I seen is that the offensive play style, like a lot of the teams were starting to get accustomed to how they could attack them, and how they could basically neutralize a lot of the offensive play style. Notice that Indiana, like from out of nowhere, was one of the top offensive teams along with Boston. Or Indiana had surpassed them in pace, had set a new all-time record in pace and I think points and some crazy shit like that, bro.
Last year. This is
Yeah, this
last
was
year.
last year. Yeah, this was last year. So like even when they were healthy, like I didn't see a lot of the stuff that I seen the year prior when they where they ended up in the 3rd seed and they played Golden State. That's just me. But I didn't see a lot of the stuff that made and I held on to what you were saying. You were saying that they're not sneaking up on nobody, and I was starting to see it because teams were starting to figure them out.
Right.
Teams are starting to figure them out slowly but surely, but that was just me. But that was just Sacramento. About the Golden State thing, I think Golden State has enough to win a playoff series against one of these young teams. And if it has to be OKC, bro, like I won't be
What's the
surprised
problem
if
with Oklahoma City, Leaf? You've been talking this shit to me for like months now about Oklahoma City. What's your issue with them, yo?
my issue with them is that like when it comes to beating the veteran teams and the teams that have like the hierarchy playoff performers, like the Jimmy Butlers, like the Steph Currys that they have. I don't think OKC really has nothing for them. I looked at that Dallas series last year again that they played. That series should have ended 5. Dallas dogged them on the boards and they dogged them in the paint from start to
You
finish.
think that this is the same team from last year?
No.
Right.
But 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 I don't but at the same time, I don't think that they've I think that they made a leap as far as the regular season, and you could
right.
tell that. But as far as the playoffs is concerned, that's a different body of work. You got to have what it takes in a 7-game series to not only match up but outperform your opposition on both sides of the ball.
So
You
they're
got to have
going
that.
right. I can appreciate that, but they're going up against a Golden State Warriors team who was less than what Dallas is. What Dallas was last year, Golden State is less than what they were. And I'm speculating on who they would see in round 1 if they had to see Golden State. They've already had this playoff experience. Last year was the first time that they were in the playoffs since the bubble.
Right.
SGA is a different player. J-Dub, who I don't think is there yet in terms of them winning the NBA championship, but I do think he's improved from last year. They get Chet back. He's healthy. In addition to him being healthy, they got the best defense in the league. They're going up against a Golden State Warriors team that's less than, but you still don't think that this Golden State team, you still don't think that this Oklahoma City team could beat them, could handle them. Even though we're better than we were last year, we're going
Right.
up against a lesser team who we match up better than, and everything that they do in Golden State, we do except better. Everything. We're better defensively. We got a better scorer. We're better in the post. We're better in transition. all the way around, we're better. But you think because it's the playoffs, we can't really do what you think that we can do off the strip that this is a veteran team, and you only saw us in one playoff series, which we haven't been in the playoffs for the first time in what, 4 years, almost 5 years. You don't think we can beat these dudes?
Chilltown, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this one time. There's something about Jimmy Butler. There's something about Steph Curry that I can't just right away dismiss. I tried to do it when they played Sacramento in that round, and I thought that series was over. And I saw it again.
It was over. De'Aaron Fox broke his hand. Leaf, let's not leave that out. De'Aaron Fox broke his hand. That's what ended up sinking him. If he doesn't break his hand, I think Golden State is out. And okay, Curry had to throw on the cape, and he did.
Threw on the cape. Hold up. Oh, wait. You're smiling, and I know you laughing because throwing the cape is more than what he did. He not just threw on the cape. He literally took off in a place where I didn't even think that was even possible. And I stood with Bobby in while he was doing the game or while he was doing it. I said, "Yo, Bobby." And I said after game five, when De'Aaron Fox missed that game winner to go up, what was it? I think 3-1, and they was in Golden State. I said, Bobby, y'all not gonna win this. Y'all not gonna win this series. I told him that, and I was 100% right. And then I went to somebody else, and then I said, yo, the Los Angeles Lakers are playing. Who was they playing? Memphis. Even though Memphis was riddled with injuries, I said they ain't had no chance of winning that series. When it comes to these young teams against the LeBrons and the Stephs, it's something about that. And you reading into the same thing, and I like to believe that me and you both reading into the same thing when it comes to the Rockets and Lakers series. Now that they got Luka, even before they had Luka, I didn't think they was beating the Lakers in a 7-game series. Did you?
It sounded to me like Steph looking at these dudes like we losing to these kids.
Yo, that's what I'm saying.
That's what it sounded to me like. I'm
saying.
Oh no,
Chill. You gotta understand when it comes to Steph Curry, when it comes to Jimmy Butler, when it comes to these dudes that's well known, documented for playoff performers, you cannot just erase them. SGA is phenomenal. I get that. But is he really ready to outperform what has yet to be outperformed in the playoffs?
Yeah,
I think so, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. And I want to get that back on you on one thing before I get to it before I forget about what you said about Luka in terms of yo, ain't nobody safe. Man, you couldn't be more right, bro. Listen, hey, it's to my understanding that Atlanta wants to move off of Trae Young. It's to my understanding. So and it's to my understanding. And yo, remember, I don't know if you heard it here first or you heard it online. Memphis is ready to move off of Ja Morant.
Oh, I heard it. Mm-hmm. That's why I talked about. That's why I talked about with Luka. Like nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe.
If Luka doesn't get moved, like nobody talking about Ja getting traded or Luka getting like nobody's talking about that. But I don't think anybody's safe. But to flip back to what you just said, and I gotta keep moving. But to flip back to what you just said, just so you know, Lee, as much as these older dudes is like, yo, we ain't losing to these kids. These young dudes is like, yo, we about to knock these old heads out of here. Get these old. You are the epitome of that, Lee. Like I'm over these old heads. I'm done with these
I am.
You think these young dudes ain't looking at Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry and Draymond like, oh, these old heads. They looking at them dudes like, man, get these old heads out of here.
Chill. Listen, before I go, can you name me a young team that has knocked off any one of these dudes that I'm talking about? You can't name me it. Sacramento has tried 2 years ago. Out in 7 games, there's the door. Memphis has tried, bro, against the Lakers. 6 games, there's the door. You talk about you never thought the Rockets could beat the Lakers in a 7-game series even before the Luka trade. Games in, there's the door. You talked about this. These young dudes.
Meanwhile, Oklahoma City smacked.
Oklahoma City, what? They just proven that they could have a good season. That's all they proven. They've won 1 playoff series. Chill. I understand. I'm ready to jump off the top rope with you. I am. I'm gonna let you go in a minute. I'm ready to jump off the top rope with you with these young teams, and they are having a phenomenal season. And you told me about Cleveland before the season. I believed you because they got somebody that I believed in, a head coach. But all these young teams ready to dismiss? Are they ready to show LeBron and Steph Curry the door? They might be ready, but you got to know how to do it.
Oklahoma City's out.
You gotta know how to do it. It ain't that simple as just having
Oklahoma City.
a good team. Me and you both know that.
Right. I do understand that. And this is not like these dudes have not gotten better from last year.
Well, show me you can do it then, and I believe it. And other than that, bro, please don't tell me about OKC in the playoffs no more. Because I still don't believe they could beat a healthy Dallas team, and you don't neither.
Later, leave. What up?
Oh man. Shout out to the Chill, shout out to Lee, shout out to the chat, shout out to everybody, shout out to Players Choice. Yo, I'm just happy to be here. And I think just rapid fire, because I know there's probably people in the lobby. For one, shout out to you, Chill. Shout out to the work you're doing. I see you shooting that jump on the clip earlier when I watched the show. It looked like you still got a jumper, you know what I'm saying?
I can shoot a little bit. I can still knock down the midi. I could still do that.
Still got the midi?
I still got it.
All right. I think I'm kind of trying to do this series. I probably need your help. I do need your help, but I'm gonna continue to do it. Where, for one, I think Curry is the last Mohican. I don't think no franchise is going to invest in a player for that long. To your point about Ja Morant moving off Trae Young, Luka moving, these franchises not keeping Stockton and Malone together if they ain't successful. I don't see it happening. But the series is about. That I'm starting is who is the next team without an NBA championship to win the NBA championship. I gotta hear your take on this.
Who is the next team to win? Who is the next? I think it's Oklahoma City. I think they're the next team up. Yes, I do. I think that they still got these guys like Chet and J-Dub. They got these dudes still under rook deals. They got Lou Dort on the cheap.
Do they count because of Seattle or
no? It's Oklahoma City. That's why Gary Payton jersey ain't hanging up in the rafters. For that reason right there.
But don't they still got their history, or am I tripping?
I think they still do have their history, but it is Oklahoma City more. Like, for example, like Sacramento is not Cincinnati. Like Sacramento is not Kansas City. It's not the Kansas City Royals. Nah. They moved to Sacramento in 85. That's where they are. But to answer your question, I think it's Oklahoma City, because I feel like the group that they have, they can stay together a little bit longer. They still got Chet on a rook deal. They still got J-Dub on a rook deal. They got Lou Dort for cheap. They ended up re-signing Caruso. They already maxed out Shea. So they got some. I feel like they got some pieces that they can hold together for a little while longer. I think they're the next team up.
All right, that was my question. You answered my question. I would stay longer, but I know it's mad people.
Absolutely, brother. Good to talk to you. What up?
Yo, what's going on?
What's up, brother?
What's going on, man?
What's up, brother?
Real quick. This whole, I don't want to touch on this, but this whole fake outrage about LeBron missing the All-Star game, right? I feel like he could have given the heads up. That's the only wrong thing he did. But he put in like 20 years of work in the All-Star game. Why are people getting all upset? And
21 years, by the way. 21
years. 21 years. That's my fault. I'm counting the 20 and everything. You know what I mean? I just feel like people getting their panties in a bunch. He put in work. He did what he could. He did his part trying to elevate the All-Star. It's just not on him. It's on everybody else that's contributed to the decline of the event. It's not just him.
I just don't like the fact that like he gets blamed for everything. Like everything is his fault. That's my issue. Like get blamed, man. I mean,
come on, man.
Like, I think he tried to give it a go. I don't think that he just bowed out. I don't think that. No. I think he tried to give it a go, and he realized I can't go. Now the timing might have been a little bit. I think the timing might have been a little bit inconvenient.
You're upset about the timing of it.
The timing might have been a little bit inconvenient, but
this whole fake outrage is just I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I mean, it's like he gets blamed for everything, man. I mean, is he totally blameless? I'm not saying that, but to blame this man for every damn thing, I mean, I don't understand. It's just about no memorial, man. But a couple other questions real quick. I know you paused for some time, but the second half of the season, right? I want your diagnosis on these three teams.
You went out, Blue. One more time. One more time, Blue.
I wanted a short diagnosis on these teams and how they do second half of the season.
Which teams?
Bucks, Lakers, Suns, and Warriors.
Well, this injury with Giannis, I think it's a precaution, but I'm worried about this calf injury. I am.
With
For them to
Giannis,
hold him out for the last 2 weeks
with
for the
Giannis.
All-Star. So he's been
Yeah.
out. So Giannis has been
2
out
weeks.
for almost 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
been almost 3 weeks now that he's been out.
wow. I thought it
So
was 2 weeks.
and I know that I know why they did it. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
they did it more as a precaution, but I'm worried about this calf
Yeah,
injury.
yeah. Think about it. That's the same calf injury that kept him out of the playoffs last year.
That's what I'm saying, man. And
Right.
I'm worried
Right.
because it's something that's still around. Like it's not something that
It keeps
that
lingering. It keeps
yeah, it
lingering,
just
like,
keeps coming back. And I worry about these calf injuries, man. But
Right.
if he can stay healthy, I think they got a shot in the East. I do. If he can
You
stay
do?
healthy. But what can't happen is they can't get bounced in round one again. The defense on the perimeter has gotten better, and I think that they're going to hit their stride. If Giannis can stay on the floor and he can stay healthy, I think I had them fourth in the East before the season started. That's right where they are right now.
They fifth, right slightly behind Indiana.
I had them in fourth place. So I think that they're right around there. I don't have an issue with that. You said
the Lakers and the Suns.
I said that the Suns before the season started that I had them in the play-in tournament, and I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs. And I still stand on that. I would not be surprised if they did. I don't feel like they got. I don't feel like Phoenix has an identity.
They're too one-dimensional, man.
I just don't.
Outside of KD, Booker, I feel like Bill just don't fit in, man. Bill just don't fit in.
Yeah, I just don't feel like they have an identity in what in Phoenix, what do they stand on? Like what do they hang their hat on? Because it can't just be KD getting buckets. Well, that's obviously not working.
Right.
That's obviously not working.
They makeshift the roster like every year. It seems like they makeshift the roster every year. Just like there's no continuity.
Yeah.
What about the Lakers?
I actually like what they're doing with the Lakers. And the reason why I like what they're doing with the Lakers is because I feel like by committee, they've gotten better.
Right.
I feel like defensively, by committee, like when they had Anthony Davis, I mean, they were relying heavily on him. Yeah. And I think that their defense suffered because how much they relied on him. Now, as far as with him being off the floor, they gang rebound more. I feel like their rotations are a little bit different now. Without him on the floor.
To be honest, maybe this real quick, one more thing. I feel like both teams with the Mavs and the Lakers, it's an incomplete team, because I feel like the Mavs kind of downgrade. They kind of downgrade. AD, for as great as he is, he's got flaws. He's the same player he was with the Pelicans and the Lakers. During his tenure with the Lakers, I feel like
I like him in Dallas though, because especially the way that they building that roster. I do. I like what they're building in Dallas, and this 3-year window, man. I very much think it'll work. I do. I think it will work. It's a win. I feel like it's a win-win for both Dallas and the Lakers. I do.
Right.
Yep. All right, brother. Good to talk to you.
Take it easy.
Yep. What up?
Yo, what up, Chill?
What up?
Yeah, what up? Yeah, real quick. Breeze.
Oh, I lost him. My fault. Get him back. Get him back. Get him back. See if I can get him back. Peace, God.
Peace, Chill. What's good, brother?
What's up, brother?
Nothing much, man. Not you talking about the Lakers defense looking better without Anthony Davis. Is that you talking like that, brother?
I am talking like that. I am. They gang rebounding more, the rotations. And the reason why I feel like that is because they're not as reliant on Anthony. When you got somebody that's that good, you have a tendency to not do your job as much because I got somebody to clean up my mess. And it looks bad overall on the crew. They don't have nobody like that. So I really have to do my job on the perimeter. I really have to do my job in the post. We really have to do our jobs because we don't have a 14, a 13, 12 rebound a game guy. We don't have that. We don't have an elite rim protector. We don't have that, right? We don't have a Roma in the paint that's going to deter the defense. No, so I'm on the perimeter. Yo, I really got to sit down in that chair and I got to stay in front of you. In the post, in terms of defense, I really got to keep you away from the basket because I don't have this big dude to protect me like I did before.
Indeed, indeed. No, I hear you. I hear you. They weren't that great of a rebounding team, anyways. But it's glad to see you back. I was watching you live earlier this morning, so I didn't get a chance to kick in. I wanted to get in with you. Why do people think that you lose your jumper? That's the one thing you never lose as a hooper is your jumper, right? You
Because
always have the jumper.
they think because your legs go that you don't have it no more. All right, well I might not be able to hop like I used to, but I can
It's
still
all in
stick
the
a
wrist.
17-footer. I can still do that.
Yeah, it's in the wrist. It's all in the flick of the.
I,
It's all in
I,
the flick of
I
the
can
wrist.
still stick a 17-footer. I can still do that. I've always been able to do that. That's never been an issue for me. So,
I,
yeah.
Before I get up out of here, let me be my Johnny Cochran for Goat James. Okay, so listen, the NBA, huh?
I gotta find it because I sent you something.
You sent me something. You got
I,
listen. Hey, the Chill Town. Always reach out to us at Goat James Kingdom Show at Gmail if you got to reach us, brother.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. And I'm gonna send it to you. I saw this thing. I
Oh
saw
yeah.
this thing.
Oh, what
It's
you did
about
send me something. You did send something on TikTok. I did see
yeah.
it.
That's what I
See
sent you.
I
That's what I
did.
sent you. And I did not notice. I was like, Jordan asked for Buck Williams. What?
Oh, I told these guys this. I've been telling these guys this.
I
So
didn't
he
know
asked
that.
for Thompson LaSalle. He asked for
LaSalle
Buck Williams
Thompson.
and I'm sorry, LaSalle Thompson, and then he
Yep.
asked for Buck Williams, and he also asked for Walter Davis.
Like these dudes be talking to me like Jay just let the front office just do it. Like he ain't say nothing. He just
Man,
let the
come on.
front office just handle. I think wait a minute, Jay, you asked for Buck? I did not know that.
Yeah, what was if that was the case? What was his beef with Jerry Krause then? If Jordan never asked for anything, if Jordan was never worrying about what the management was doing, what was his beef with Jerry Krause?
Why can he stand Jerry Krause? Right. What was his problem with
Exactly,
Jerry
exactly. But let me defend my goat right quick, okay? Not the zesty Jeffrey right now, okay? Let me defend my goat. The NBA knew he was not going to show up till Sunday. They knew he wasn't showing up till game time Sunday, so they already
So he
knew he
wasn't
was.
even there. So he wasn't even there the whole weekend.
No, but and they knew he wasn't going to show up, so they understood this guy's going to do his thing. If
Right.
he's like you said, if he can give it a go, he'll give it a go. If not, that's fine. This whole idea that he was taking pictures without a uniform. There's plenty of these guys throughout the years, including Shaq, Kobe, plenty of players who didn't have their uniform on taking the team photo for the All-Star game. Again, LeBron James is the star of the NBA. He's the face of the NBA still. And Pat Beverly said it best. If he would have told him he's not playing from Friday, the ratings would have went down. So
Well,
we all know that.
Pat Beverly said it himself. If James says that we playing in the bubble, we playing in the bubble. He said that, and he right. He's 100% right.
Because he's the GOAT, man. Even when he's done, he's going to leave a long-lasting impact in the game. And we were fortunate enough to see it, brother.
See, the only problem I have, Jay, is I don't like the fact that he gets blamed for everything. Like, I understand that you being the face of the league, there's some criticism that comes with this, and I mean that's part of it. But with that being said, like, damn, not everything is my fault. Not everything. He didn't just bow out of the All-Star game. It's not like he was like, I ain't playing. I'm 100% confident he gave it a go. I'm confident he was like, yo, I'm gonna see if I can get out of here. Because being around LeBron James and seeing LeBron James as much as I've seen him, he's a baller.
Exactly.
He does not bow out. He's a baller. He's a hooper.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
and
if he couldn't go,
he let us see the other players. It's about time he again allow us to see everybody else that we want to see play. Nobody wanted to see Norman Powell or Sabonis, or they would have got voted in. But either way, brother, listen, the crown is heavy, but it's never heavy for a stature of 6'9", 270. If you're about 6'6", 205, yeah, that crown's too heavy for you. But when you 6'9", 270, that's a crown that you can wear heavy all day long, brother. Peace and blessings. Go James Kingdom.
classic, my fault. I lost you.
Oh yeah, no, you good. I was just saying, real quick with that post fade you hit on Jordan at All Star Weekend, man. That was textbook, man. You hit him with the bump till you got a little separation, and then you faded away, man. That was nice. I was wondering why you didn't try to use that move on the young bull, man. You was trying to drive by him, man. He had too much energy for that, man.
Well, the thing he actually gave me a bit of a black eye because he hit me in the face, and with him hitting me in the face, I was like, damn, watch out. But I was looking at this. I really didn't think about it, and I could have scored on him whenever I felt.
Yeah, I felt like you tried to get a little too cute, man. Like I was talking about earlier, you was trying to show off your versatility. All you had to do was go back to the go-to move, man. You couldn't stop that.
I ain't have to play games with him. He couldn't really do nothing. Yeah, I could have just
Yeah,
thought.
but in regards to the playoffs, I know weeks ago I said that I think the Mavericks, I mean the Lakers won the Luka trade, and I still think they won the Luka trade. But after seeing them play, I don't really like this duo with LeBron and Luka, and I don't really think this duo is gonna go far in the playoffs.
Classic, can we
Because
give it a little bit more time? I know how you are, right? I know that you're pretty reactionary when it comes to things like this. Can we have this conversation in, let's say, in a month? How about that?
No, because whenever I thought that they really won the trade, I had imagined that Luca was going to be the primary ball handler,
Yeah,
and then LeBron was going to be playing off ball. So I was thinking it was going to be like how LeBron was with D Wade, when
right.
D Wade was throwing him alley oops, and it was just a whole bunch of highlights. But I guess now because LeBron is older, I don't think he wants to be off the ball that much. And so the first two games with the Jazz, it seemed like LeBron is the primary ball handler. And so whenever they would hit Luca in the corner, Luca's a playmaker. So his first reaction isn't always to catch and shoot, but he's gonna have to do that. So he was passing up shots to try to like make these flashy passes, which is cool. But I feel like in the playoff, he's gonna have to do some catch and shoot threes. And I've never really seen Luca be a good catch and shoot player, which is one of the reasons why like I think now Tatum, I think this trade may have actually pushed Tatum over Luca because I think he's a great off-ball offensive player. He cuts without the ball. He can shoot in the corner, but Luca's so used to having the ball in his hands. I really can't see how that's going to be effective with him being off the ball. So
I've seen a
I
lot of
don't think it's going to
James.
make a lot of noise.
I've seen a lot of James playing pick and pop, pick and dive with Austin Reeves, and that's why I'm looking at him playing off the ball with Luka. I feel like once they get their stride, I think he can do that, kind of like what Derek Lively was doing. But I still think that they still need some more interior help. But I just want to give this a little bit. I'm not dismissing what you're saying, Classic. I just want to give this a little bit more time. That's all I want to do. I want to give this a little bit more time, and I want to revisit this again in another month. If we can come back and revisit this in another month, and I still see the same thing, then I'll give it up. Like, you know what? I think you're right, my man. I don't like what this is looking like, but I just want to see where we're going with this first, and then let me make an analysis of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see how much it's going to change, but I mean, it may. And then I really want the Nuggets. I really want the Wolves to play the Nuggets in the first round because just like the Nuggets were like kryptonite to the Lakers, I think the Wolves they might give the Nuggets a run for their money. And I actually want to see Jokic get put out in the first round because like he's a great player, but the way people have been talking about him lately, and it just bothers me. And then now people are saying he should win his fourth straight MVP. I kind of want him to win the MVP this year and then get put out in the first round, so people
Why?
can kind of because I think if he gets put out in the first round and he wins the MVP, I think people now will start realizing, okay, maybe we need to reevaluate what the MVP is and who actually has the greater impact on their team.
I mean, we seen Dirk get put out in the first round. I mean, that's happened, but I don't think that's affected him because later on he did end up winning, and I feel like that
Right, but
elevated his status.
Dirk only won one MVP, right?
Right.
Right. So I think Jokic should only have one MVP. The year that they were the number one seed and they won the chip, I think that's the only year he should have won MVP.
So in 21 he shouldn't have won it, and in 22 you ain't buying that one either.
No, I'm not buying the one. The one last year, I think Shea should have won. Shea or who was? I think Shea should have won last year. And then the year that he won as the sixth seed, I think Devin Booker should have won. But
I know where you at with that. Considering I think they won 64, 65 games that year. Phoenix did, and they were at the top of the Western Conference. They had the best record in the NBA. So I mean, to be honest with you, I don't hate it. I don't. All right, brother. Good to talk to you.
All right, man. You have a good one.
What up?
Yo, what up, Chill?
What up?
Man, it was one stream I was watching. You said Houston gonna smoke us in the playoffs, man.
Houston gonna smoke who?
Memphis, man.
I didn't say smoke you. What I said was I think that This kid Thompson, I think he can outlast Ja. I think he can wear Ja down, and I think that'll be the difference in the series. That's what I
Yeah,
said.
yeah, I see what you're saying with that, but the thing is, Memphis got so many defenders. You got Vince Williams. That's who I'm looking. Vince Williams. Oh my
Yep.
God, man. He a dog on defense.
Right.
He a dog. Jalen Wells, he gonna play defense. I'm scared for his offense in the playoffs. I don't think he's gonna start
That's
in the
gonna be a
playoffs.
problem. That's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he's gonna start in the playoffs at all. I
And a
think
lot of
the lineup is gonna be Ja, Bane, Vince, Jaren. I think Edie, just for his size, just for his
yep,
body to be there.
yep.
But I don't think Jalen's gonna play much in the playoffs.
I just feel
Honestly,
like I feel like a lot of what Memphis has, Houston has on the defensive end. And a lot of what Houston has on the defensive end creates a lot of their offense. And if you
yeah,
wear Ja down, on top of wearing Ja down, I mean, Steven Adams, so much more physical with Jaren
yeah.
Jackson. I mean, I've seen him take Jaren Jackson out of games and make him completely, utterly ineffective. Now, can he do that for a series? I'm not sure if he can do that for a series, but I've seen him do that for stretches in games where he's just made him ineffective. I
Yeah.
think Houston has a real shot if they would have. I don't think they're gonna end up seeing Memphis, but I think that they'd have a real shot playing against Memphis off the strength of just Thompson slowing down Ja, because I think he'd wear him down throughout the course of the series.
I mean, who you trusting on offense on their squad though? You trusting Jalen
Well,
Green?
well, see, I'm gonna have to him and Sengun. Those are the guys that I'm gonna have to trust.
I,
Yep.
I don't trust Jalen Green to
And
be consistent in the playoffs. That's the thing. I just don't see it happen. I think they still need a star player for when it comes down to like my best player is better than your best player.
I've
I
always
just
felt like that. I've always felt like that. That my best player is better than your best player. Now, with that being said, who is the best player in Memphis? Is it Ja? Because I feel like when we talking about him getting moved, that's telling me that the Memphis people are looking at Jaren Jackson to maybe build his unit around
now I don't
moving forward.
now I don't think Zach Kleiman, he already came out and said they're not moving Ja. I don't see that happening at all.
So
I
if
mean
that's
what
the case, Rob, so if that's the case, what you telling me, if that's the case, that means that Ja is going to have to outplay Thompson. He can't get slowed down by him. Because I feel like that's going to be the difference in the series. If Thompson can slow him down and outlast and wear Ja down, I think that they can beat you off that, which means that my best player wasn't better than your best player.
Yeah, Houston, they squad just confused me. One night, it's a different player like having the best game. Like it's just whoever having a night with their squad. Like it could be Şengün, it could be a man, it could be Van Fleet, it could be Jalen Green. Hell, it could be Jabari Smith, it could be Tari Eason. That's what's confusing about this squad to me. I just don't think they have that guy to
And
depend
on,
on.
and on top of that, Rock, one minute they look like they can bounce Oklahoma City, and then the next
Yeah,
they look like Portland would smoke them in 4 games. Get these dudes off the floor, yo. Hey, Rock, good to talk to you, brother.
good talking to you, man.
What up? Yo. Do I have him? Do I don't? What up? Nope. Had him, but I didn't. See if I can get him back. All right, guys. It's about that time for me. Y'all know what time it is when y'all see me. Y'all know where to find me at. I'm on TikTok every morning, 9 a.m. I'm back in effect. The All-Star game, All-Star weekend is over. You got the last 27 games of the season. We already know what this is. We got a game tonight between Charlotte and the Lakers. This is a makeup game. If it wasn't for it, because of the fires and the games were canceled, so they're making up this game. So they're a day earlier. Other than that, all the action really starts tomorrow. You know where to find me. If I'm not here, I'm on TikTok, 9 a.m. every morning. Good morning, NBA. If I'm not there, I'm on a panel from 11 to 2 on the Players Choice Network on YouTube. If I'm not there, this is where I am on Chilltown Hoops weeknights. Hit that subscribe button, and you'll get notifications of when I'm here, which is pretty regularly. If I'm not here, you can find me on Saturdays with me and my man Big Ox on Chill with Chill. I am not hard to find. I will see you guys soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When last time you talked to your mother? I just talked to my mother last night. When last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. I will talk to you guys soon, but until then, take it light. Take it. Absolutely, man. It was good to see you guys tonight. This was good stuff. I enjoyed this.